times get tough, it's easy to get overwhelmed by feelings of doubt. But is that really the best way to succeed? Today, we'll talk about how you can make a shift to focus on the silver lining in the darkest of days and how to identify opportunities for success in challenging times. Thanks for joining us today. This is the Statler Financial Radio Show. I am Jen Rezac, happy to be here with Philip Statler. He's president and CEO of Statler Financial Services. Philip is the inaugural Highlander Award winner for Financial Representative of the Year. StatlerFinancial.com is the website if you'd like to learn a little bit more. And of course, Philip, you're very active on Facebook as well. If you search for Statler Financial Services on Facebook, you're always posting videos, all sorts of updates. That's another great place to find the latest from you between episodes of this show, right? How are you doing today?
Absolutely. That's a great place to check in with us and to find out what's really happening with us and what's happening in the marketplace and those type of things, because we do post a lot of daily videos there. We post our invites there when we do our virtual Ask Philip Anything, which we've done now for the past 4 Saturdays. And they've been very well received. We've got a lot of good questions and a lot of good participation through that.
And it's great that we have those opportunities to stay connected. I think that's probably a silver lining, which we're going to focus on today, just our ability to use technology and stay connected even when we have to be apart. It's kind of an oxymoron. We're all alone together, I guess, is how you could say this.
You couldn't say it any better than that.
There you go. There you go. Well, Philip, let me ask you this. As we start to focus on the positive today, thinking about a challenging time, it could be this particular type of challenge or just challenging times in general. Philip, what's some of the best advice you've ever been given about persevering and making it through a challenging time?
That's a good question, Jen. I think that if I think back, one of the biggest things is just that, to remind yourself that you will get through this. There is light on the other side of the tunnel. But I'm going to tell you the other thing that really and truly has been probably my biggest, at least the biggest thing that I found in the last big challenging time I had, was to hire somebody that knows what they're doing, that had the expertise to help navigate through the issue that I was dealing with at the time. And that was probably some of the best advice that I got, Jen, because it really did help take a load off of my plate and allow me to kind of breathe a little easier by doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it allows you to focus on things that you can take care of, and you don't have to worry about the things that maybe aren't your strong suit. So that certainly makes sense. As we talk about this specific situation with the COVID-19 crisis, what is a silver lining that you've personally found, or maybe something that you've heard from some of your clients during all of this pandemic?
Well, I think for me, it's the fact that now you don't have much of a choice. Life has slowed down, right? We can't just go out, at least we're not supposed to be, just go out and shop. You can't go to the stores hardly, at least the retail establishments. You can go to the grocery store. So I think that's one thing is just the slowing down the pace. And then the other thing I think is that, I look outside now and there's a lot more people out there walking, exercising, riding their bikes out in the neighborhood. Yeah, obviously you got a social distance between people, but just the fact that there's more and more people out there enjoying the atmosphere and enjoying the ability just to go out there and participate in some exercise.
What kind of questions are you getting from people right now, Philip? Either current clients or people who are just trying to figure out what's going on with their money, and maybe these are more of prospective type clients. What kind of questions are you getting from people?
As I mentioned earlier, we do our Ask Philip Anything. We've gone virtual now the last 4 weeks, and so I have gotten some feedback and some questions, and so a lot of people are concerned about how long is this going to last? At what point does the economy bounce back enough that we can get out and go to the grocery store without having to worry, or go to the restaurant and grab a bite to eat instead of having to go pick it up and take it home? That's one big thing. The other big question we're getting right now is the whole IRS stimulus, right? When am I going to get my check? When am I going to get my direct deposit? How's that going to work? Is that going to be taxable income to me in 2020? That's got people really concerned. It's really not that big of a deal. I mean, it's a big deal. They get the check, but it's not going to have any tax consequences, which is making people happy.
So talk a little bit about the ways we can reach you, Philip. Obviously, this is a little bit different now than what it normally would be as far as your meeting process, but you do have a bunch of different ways that you can connect with people and you can still be available. You're still very much able to help people, even though it just looks a little bit different. Talk a little bit about what's going on right now with how you're helping people.
Absolutely, Jen. It's been unique and it's interesting how things can work together. But now, instead of coming to the office, a lot of folks will call us and we'll schedule a 15, 20-minute phone call just to kind of go through their circumstances and where they are. And just to kind of get a feel for what's happening in their life and what's important to them. From that point, then, we do have the ability to do virtual meetings, whether they're Zoom meetings or just a phone consultation. And we are an essential service. And so if need be, we'll meet with people at the office. It's not a problem to do that. With all these market fluctuations, now's the time, really. I mean, we've seen some indication that the market's coming back, but is it really? That's my big question. Is it really? And so, to schedule your call, all you have to do is give us a call at 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815. And you can schedule a 15, 20-minute phone consultation, and then we can see where that leads us from there, Jen. So give us a call at 863-285-3815.
Talking today with Philip Statler. He is president and CEO of Statler Financial Services, and I'm Jen Rezac alongside. Obviously, Philip, we can't control the markets and what happens there. We can't control the government's response to this pandemic, and of course, the pandemic. What can we actually control in times like these, and how important is it to focus on those things that we can control?
That's a good question, Jim, because I think that we get ourselves in this funk, really, maybe where we're so clouded over, and all we think about is the things that we have no control over. But there are things that we can control. We can control how much risk we have in our portfolio. We can control how active we are, whether we're getting out and doing some exercise and keeping our bodies and minds where they need to be. We can make changes to our portfolio. We can determine how much risk we have and see if things need to be changed. We can get on the phone and call friends and family and check in with them to make sure, are they doing okay? Do they need help? I mean, one of the things that I've been doing is, my parents live relatively close. And so we kind of put a moratorium on them going out. So, we do the grocery shopping. We have a list and we'll go pick up stuff for them and make those things. And so I think that connectivity is actually a good thing through all this process.
Do you have any general advice for helping us avoid making emotional decisions with our money? I think that kind of thing can happen when we're worried and we're just not quite sure what all we can control. And we think I can control spending this or moving this around, but how do we keep our emotions out of that?
That can be difficult sometimes, right? Because our emotions can overtake us with all the stuff that's happening around us that we really can't control. I think that focusing and having the relationship with the advisor. I mean, we've been on the phone with our clients. That's one reason we've started doing these weekly Ask Philip Anythings virtually. So our clients can call in and talk to us and get an idea of what's happening. And that's been a really good thing. For our clients, they know that they can easily reach out to us. But I think having somebody that can be a sounding board. Somebody called me the other day and they were really frustrated. A small business owner, we talking about this payroll protection plan and they were really frustrated. And he calls me the other day and says, Philip, can I retire? I don't think I can handle this anymore. 2 years out from where I thought I wanted to retire, but can I retire? Hey, we ran the numbers. We called him back the next day and you know what? his state had changed. We were able to talk through everything. And he says, well, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was. And just knowing that he could help get him through where he was.
So would you say this is a good time for a second opinion then, Philip? Sounds like maybe it is.
I think it's a very good time for a second opinion, because so many people that I talk to, Jen, they have no idea how much risk is in their portfolio. They don't have a clue. And so when we start analyzing their portfolios and look at the risks that they have, it ends up being most times, not always, but most times it ends up being that their portfolio has a lot more risk than what they thought it did. And so by getting that second opinion, by getting that financial x-ray, it allows them to understand how much risk they really are taking in their portfolio. And with what we've seen here not too long ago, it makes sense maybe even to start rearranging our portfolio a little bit.
So talk a little bit about the best way for us to get the latest information from you and your team so we can get started on getting some of these answers to our questions or getting that second opinion.
Absolutely, Jen. So one way is obviously our telephone, right? Give us a call, 863-285-3815. Way number two, our website, statlerfinancial.com. That's statlerfinancial.com. Hey, we've got a lot of good stuff on our website, and there's some different things that you can request through there. The other thing is Facebook. I can't tell you how important it is for you to connect with us through Facebook. And it's simple. All they have to do is look up Statler Financial Services on Facebook, and they'll find everything they need there, how to contact us, all the different things that we do, the events that we have, and then just the different videos that we put out there that people can connect with us and give us a call and let us walk you through some of this stuff. Jen, we're in this time now of uncertainty. And I know that makes a lot of us feel really unsure if we're making the right decisions or not right now. And so if you're concerned, folks, I don't blame you one bit. Call me right now at 863-285-3815 for a complimentary strategy session where we can evaluate your retirement plan. Or if you don't have a retirement plan, we can give you some insight and help you design an income plan and a retirement plan that will limit your exposure to this volatile market that we've seen over this last 60 days or so. We believe your basic expenses in retirement should not be subject to the whims of the market. You need to have those things covered. Call us right now at 863-285-3815 or visit our website at statlerfinancial.com. We can meet you over the phone. We can do it online with a virtual meeting. It's easy to do. Just reach out to us. Give us a call at 863-285-3815. Again, that's 863-285-3815.
It's easy to get overwhelmed by negativity in challenging times. So how do we find opportunities to improve our situation? We'll get into that on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
With the worldwide pandemic and stock markets plummeting, now is the time to listen to a voice of reason. Call Philip today at 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815.
How healthy is your retirement plan? From record highs to historic losses in a matter of days, the impact of the coronavirus has been felt around the world. If COVID-19's effect on the market has you worried, Philip Statler and his team at Statler Financial Services are offering you a complimentary review of your retirement portfolio. And if you don't already have a plan, they can help you create a plan designed to help reduce the risk to your retirement savings when the market drops. Call 863-285-3815 to schedule your complimentary visit or virtual meeting to help make sure your retirement savings are built to last through down markets today and in the future. Call now to give your retirement plan a checkup with Philip Statler and the team at Statler Financial Services. 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815. Investment advisory services offered through Statler Financial Services, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
This is the Statler Financial Radio Show. I am Jen Rezac alongside Philip Statler. He is president and CEO of Statler Financial Services. StatlerFinancial.com is the website if you'd like to learn a little bit more. And I say it out of habit, saying that I'm alongside, but Philip, the reality is we have technology to do this from our own homes. So we are both hunkered down with our people, and trying to keep our people from joining us on the show has been our main goal over these past few weeks as we figure out how to navigate this new reality. And Philip, it is overwhelming. It's easy to get overwhelmed by negativity in challenging times, but there are opportunities even on the darkest of days, and that's what we want to focus on here. Philip, I wonder, as we talk about finding silver linings and finding opportunities, with so many people spending so much more time at home, I wonder if this is a good time to continue learning. You and I were talking about how easy it is to get started on a TV show or Netflix or something, and then you're there for hours. But how can we take advantage of all this time at home to learn more about some of our options for our money?
Well, there's a lot of different stuff out there, but one of the things that we are getting ready to start doing is, because we can't really meet with people, in a big atmosphere, a big restaurant or anything like that, or even a conference room for that matter. We're getting ready to launch some webinars where people can actually connect with us and learn via those webinars. And obviously our Ask Philip Anything is a way that folks can learn, because we come up and we give basically an overview of what's happened the last week or so, both economic and market wise. And then people ask questions. And so because of that, somebody will ask a question that somebody else didn't even think of, and it resonates with them, and it gives them a lot of information that they can then go back and use themselves. So there's all kinds of things out there that will give people the ability to learn. I know at Harvard, I saw a thing the other day where they opened up some of their distance learning for free, where you can log in and do a class.
Yeah, it's really cool to see some of those opportunities that have opened up. And of course, there's only so many times you can clean out the attic and straighten up the living room. So why not learn a little bit more about this? Here's something that I think we can spend some time learning about as well, Philip. We talk all the time about having a plan. Talk a little bit about what exactly that means, and how does having a plan bring you confidence in times like this?
Well, Jen, one of the things that I've always talked about is your income should not be reliant upon the market. And so I think that having that plan in place where we know where our income is going to come from month in and month out is huge, because then I don't have to focus on what's happening in the stock market, because I know my monthly check's not coming from there. Mm-hmm. And because of that, then I have certainty of where my income is coming from. And I don't have to worry about what volatility in the market's doing, because it's not going to affect my income. Now, it'll affect the growth bucket, but hey, that's why it's there. It's the growth bucket because we've got time, 5-10 years, or it's going to go to our beneficiaries. We don't need that money right now. And so that's why it's so important that folks have a retirement income plan. Not just a retirement plan, because a typical retirement plan, Jen, just says, hey, here's how much money I need when I retire, but it doesn't specifically say, how are you going to get that money out? What's that going to look like? And that's what a retirement income plan really does, is it creates that plan that says, hey, in year 4, this is where my money's coming from. And year 10, this is where my money's coming from. It's laid out that specifically, Jen.
Talk a little bit also about how important it is to focus on opportunities rather than losses when it comes to our investment strategy. Because, Philip, a lot of people might be concerned about how their investments are doing when we have some of these big drops that we've seen. But are there opportunities there as well?
Well, you're right. And a lot of times what we see gives us an opportunity to rebalance our portfolio. And sometimes it brings to light that, hey, maybe my diversification isn't what it should have been. And now I have a chance to realign things, to put things more in balance and make sure that The amount of what I have over here on one side is safe and the other side is not. So, it's one of those things that I think that we just have to come to bear, that we need to find more things that give us some certainty, Jen.
Talk a little bit about some of the common mistakes people make with their money when we have uncertain financial times.
So one thing that I've seen in the uncertain times out there is people sell too quick. And so they just get out of the market altogether. So that's one thing. Now, the other thing that I've seen is the exact opposite, right? They stayed in. They stayed in too long. They didn't make the right changes. They didn't make any allocation changes. They did not diversify between safety and risk. They kept doing what they were doing, and it was a detriment to them. So that's the other thing that we look at is that we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing with our current portfolio. And I know that, we're in a time of uncertainty, and that makes a lot of us, feel really unsure of what we're doing and whether we're making the right decisions or not. Decisions that you make today can have a significant impact on your retirement later down the road. If you're concerned, I don't blame you one bit. And with all the stuff going on, it really does give us cause for some concern. But call me and let me help you walk through it. All you have to do is give me a call at 863-285-3815 for a complimentary strategy session. We can evaluate your retirement plan, or if you don't have a plan, we can give you some insight and some help in designing that retirement income plan for you. Give us a call right now at 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815, or visit our website at statlerfinancial.com.
Talking today with Philip Statler. He is president and CEO of Statler Financial Services. I'm Jen Rezac alongside. Philip, you touched on this a little bit earlier, but talk about how working with a financial professional can help us find some of the opportunities in this current market environment and help us avoid making some of those emotional decisions.
Well, Jen, it does. That's why, I feel like I am my client's retirement coach. I'm here to coach them through where they're at and what they're doing, to make sure that they don't make that mistake, pull out too soon, or to get in when they shouldn't. That's what I'm here for. And it really does concern me sometimes when I talk to a prospect or somebody at one of my seminars, and I ask them, so what did your financial advisor, what did he do when this thing started tanking? And they said, well, nothing. I mean, he did reach out to us and we've talked to him, but he just said, stay the course, just don't do anything to change. And that concerns me, Jim, because so often I remember back to 2000 and 2008 and those major bear markets. I remember people getting hurt so bad. With what we've seen, there should be changes in a portfolio, especially if you're in retirement. Things should be changing. And if they're not, then that concerns me. And so, that's one reason I feel like people need sometimes to get a second opinion, because the advisor isn't really doing anything for them other than stay the course. Example, I talked to somebody last week that said, you know what, my advisor won't give me any advice on whether I should stay in or get out, and so that's concerning to people.
How do we figure out the right type of person to do that other than someone different?
And different's not necessarily better, right? Just because somebody's different, if you go from wirehouse to wirehouse, you're not helping yourself any, right? So my number one thing is independence. Are you dealing with somebody that's independent, or you're working with somebody that works for the company store and toes the company store line? I think independence plays a big part and a big benefit to people, because then you have all the tools that are available through the financial industry, where somebody that's not independent, they're limited in what they have and the tools that are available. So I would say number one is you want independence. Number two, you want a fiduciary, somebody that has to do and act on your best interest, not just because they tell you they do, but by law they have to. That is a big difference, Jen, in the type of advisors that are out there. So I think that's the other thing that people need to have.
talk a little bit about how important transparency is when it comes to financial advice. I would think that would be pretty important for a lot of people.
It is, and it comes kind of with that independence deal, right? So having that transparency, whether you're paying fees or you're paying commissions, if you're paying commissions, does that influence that person's advice that they're giving you or the vehicle they're putting you in? That's where, to me, transparency and being able to show the transparency of what you're paying in expenses and fees plays a big role. Your financial advisor has gotten you to where you are today, and you're probably in a pretty great place. But do they have the tools that are necessary to get you through to retirement? It is a different philosophy. It is a different mindset. It's a different set of skill sets to get you through retirement and to put together those income plans that are out there. If wealth accumulation was the mission all these years, and you've probably done well there. But now we're not focusing on wealth accumulation in retirement. If you're in that danger zone, that 5 years before, 5 years after retirement, then it's important that you're in the preservation stage. We need to keep what we have. It's time for you to get a second opinion to ensure that your retirement plan is putting you on track for the days ahead. Give us a call right now at 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815. I want to make sure that you're on the right track for your retirement. Give me a call right now at 863-285-3815.
Philip Statler is with Statler Financial Services. There's a lot we can't control. We cannot control the markets. We cannot control a pandemic or the government's response to it. So just what can we control when the going gets tough? We'll talk about that coming up next.
Remember that first paycheck when you started working all those years ago? You're finally out on your own earning money, and you look at the net amount on the check and you think, whoa, what happened here? Well, it could be this way with your retirement accounts. You know how much you've saved, but if you haven't planned for Uncle Sam, you could come up short in retirement. With the recent tax cuts, there is a lot you need to know to make sure you're not paying more than your fair share. Philip Statler and the Statler Financial Services team can help. They've helped hundreds of families plan for retirement for more than 20 years. They will help you create a retirement plan that shows you how taxes could affect you now and in the future. Set up a visit with Philip Statler and the team at Statler Financial Services. Call 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815. Make sure you know how these changes could affect you so you can avoid those whoa moments in retirement. Call 863-285-3815. Investment advisory services offered through Statler Financial Services, LLC. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax advice.
Thanks for joining us today. This is the Statler Financial Radio Show. I am Jen Rezac with Philip Statler. He is president and CEO of Statler Financial Services. StatlerFinancial.com is the website if you'd like to learn a little bit more. They're also really active on Facebook. If you're on there, just do a search for Statler Financial Services. They'll pop right up. They're always posting videos and articles. Great resource there for getting information because Philip and I are only here doing this show once a week and a lot happens in between. So again, StatlerFinancial.com or on Facebook, search for Statler Financial Services. Philip, there are a lot of things that are out of our control in the world today. We cannot control the pandemic. We can't control the government's response to the pandemic. And I do want to talk about that a little bit. I don't intend this to be a political statement, but the fact is when you have a stimulus package the size of the one that was just passed, we do have to think about the tax consequences going forward. Can we talk a little bit about that? What are your thoughts on the impact on our retirement when we look at the amount of government spending that we're seeing as a result of all of this?
Jen, we covered that topic pretty big in our last Ask Philip Anything because that is a big concern for folks. Is that we have to do whatever we have to do now because we've got to keep our country going and our economy going and everybody functioning. So what does that mean down the road? When this is all said and done, how much is our deficit going to be? There's another bill right now to add another $350 or $410 billion in spending for folks to help get through this. So we already had a fairly high deficit. And now we're talking about adding probably at least $1 trillion, if not $1.5 trillion, in this whole CARES Act and what's going to follow it, right? So what does that mean to us, you and I, as taxpayers? Well, it means that at some point we got to pay the piper. At some point, tax rates are going to have to go up to pay off this deficit. Even if we just pay the interest, that's going to continue to escalate. Remember back, and some of you out there maybe can't remember back this far, but when Reagan was president in the early 80s, prior to that, before the Tax Act that he passed in 1982, the tax rates were as high as 90%. I mean, we've seen some extremely high tax rates. And so think if that was to happen today, what would happen if your tax rate all of a sudden doubled? Instead of being in the 12%, you're in the 24%. Instead of the 15, you're now in the 30% tax rate. That's going to have a huge impact on folks. And so now's the time to really focus on some of the tax planning aspects that this may provide us in terms of Roth conversions, just taking money out of IRAs right now, even if you don't do Roth conversions. Or maybe now's the time to look at providing, investment-based life insurance so that you leave your beneficiaries a tax-free benefit down the road. Those are some huge things that, this situation lends itself to start having those conversations about what do those things look like and how can I best take advantage of where we are today.
Let's talk a little bit about the way that we can find a little bit more of those opportunities and take advantage of some of this. Philip, is that part of your initial phone call discussion? If our main concern is taxes rather than investments, do we just need to call you and give you a heads up that that's what we want to talk about, or tell me how we can start this conversation with you today?
Well, I think that conversation starts when we have that first phone consultation, because we're going to talk about what's important to you, right? I mean, I'm going to get the information I need to help you make the right decisions, but you're going to give to me what's important to you so that I know which direction we need to go. And so, it's easy. All you have to do is give us a call at 863-285-3815 to schedule your 15 or 20 minute phone consultation where we can help figure out where do we need to go from there. What are things that are important to you, and where do we need to plug in and take advantage of some of this stuff? I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're trying to decide whether or not to do a Roth conversion or not. And they dealt with Vanguard. Vanguard's a great place to put your money. It's low expenses. But they called and said, well, hey, can you help me? I'm trying to figure out whether or not this makes sense for me to do a Roth conversion. You know what? They couldn't help them. They couldn't give any tax advice. They were unable to help that investment client get to where they need to be. And that's where, Jen, I think that working with somebody that has independence, has the ability to take care of their clients no matter what they need. To schedule your phone call, all you have to do is give us a call at 863-285-3815 to schedule a 15, 20-minute phone consultation to kind of see what your next steps really need to be.
That number again is 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815. Philip, I do think it's important that we talk a little bit about tax planning as one of those things we don't want to lose sight of with this pandemic and all the things that happen with the markets and the state of the economy. It's really easy to focus primarily on those things, but what you don't want to do, and I think that's really what this whole discussion is about, is survive the volatility, survive what happens with the markets, come out on the other side, and then get walloped with taxes. It's just one of those things we don't want to lose sight of. And that's why we talk about working with someone like you who can focus on all of those things, not just one particular area of our finances, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's where we really look at. And there's several things I think from the CARES Act that people need to be aware of. One is the tax rates, right? The tax rates right now are all-time lows. I can be wrong, but historically, I don't think we've ever been in a tax rate that are so low, probably since tax rates started, right? I mean, to be in a 10%, 12% tax bracket is incredible. But I see so many people, Jen, that waste their tax bracket. Now, what I mean by that? Well, they're in a 10% tax bracket and they're paying no taxes, zero, and they're wasting their standard deduction. They could be taking 15, 20, maybe even $25,000 out of an IRA and convert it to a Roth and pay no tax on it. Same thing, the guy that's in the 10% or the 12% tax bracket, he's leaving money on the table because he's not converting his IRA to a Roth because he's given up that tax bracket. And so now's a great time to start doing that kind of planning. Those are the types of plans we put together for our clients to make sure that they're taking ultimate advantage of the tax brackets they're in when it comes to the Roth conversions.
Philip, talk a little bit about your background with all of this. I mean, when we talk about tax planning and we talk about the difference between tax planning and tax preparation and all of these different strategies, this is really where it all started for you, right?
Exactly. So my background is I owned a couple different accounting and tax practices over the years. I have over 35 years of tax preparation experience. And so you're right. This is where it really started for me is I saw people not doing the planning they need to do. And so that I ventured out into this financial planning, retirement planning type practice because I saw people leaving money on the table. Or secondly, I saw them going down the road and not getting the right investment advice that they should be getting. So between those two things, we put together the ability to do both, not just the investment planning, but the tax planning for our investment clients to be able to help them get the most out of their retirement dollars, because I think that's important. People forget what taxes can mean down the road. And I think we cannot lose sight of what taxes could be 10 years from now.
Philip, is there anything else with the CARES Act or even the Secure Act, which was the big news at the start of the year, but of course things are very different now as we are heading through the year 2020. Anything else about those big significant pieces of legislation or tax planning that we need to think about?
There's a couple of things I think people need to be aware of because this time it's in our lives it's important. One is, for those people that have to take a required minimum distribution, the IRS, the government in their bill, the CARES Act, actually postponed that. Mm-hmm. So now you do not have to take a required minimum distribution from your IRA or your 401k. Now, I had the question the other day, well, do I have to take double next year? No, you do not. So you're able to just forego your required minimum distribution for 2020. So that could be a benefit. The other thing that could allow people to do is to take what would have been their required minimum distribution and roll it into a Roth IRA. So now they're getting a double benefit. Number one, they don't have to take it. Number two, what they do take, they can put into a Roth IRA, which they normally couldn't do. Secondly, for those people that are unemployed, that are having issues paying their bills, the CARES Act did allow for folks to take money out of their 401ks, out of their IRAs, and not have to pay the 10% penalty. Now, they still have to pay the tax on it, but I think that tax, and I haven't seen this in writing yet, but I've read a couple articles, they can actually put the money back over the next 3 years, or they can pay the tax over the next 3 years. So another benefit, if by chance you are down on your luck and need that money. Now, let me just warn you, that should be the last place that you take money from. The absolute last place that you take money from should be your retirement accounts. But if you got to keep living, you got to survive, then it is there. You do have to pay the tax on it, but you don't have to pay the 10% penalty that used to be there. And now that's only for this year, right? At the end of 2020, that goes away. That's not part of the continued plan. So, hey, folks, if you're not sure where you stand from an investment standpoint, from a tax standpoint, 15, 20-minute phone consultation can help set you on the right path. Give us a call at 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815, folks. I don't want to see you make mistakes I'd rather you take the initiative and give us a call than make a mistake right now. Let us help walk you through it. Give us a call at 863-285-3815. 863-285-3815.
Talking today with Philip Statler. This is the Statler Financial Radio Show. Every dark cloud has a silver lining. That's our focus today. But you're not going to find that if you're only focused on the bad news. So we'll have some ideas on how you can tune out the noise and focus on the positive. Coming up next, we'll be back.
If you have a retirement plan and would like a second opinion, call Statler Financial Services today. 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815. How healthy is your retirement plan? From record highs to historic losses in a matter of days, the impact of the coronavirus has been felt around the world. If COVID-19's effect on the market has you worried, Philip Statler and his team at Statler Financial Services are offering you a complimentary review of your retirement portfolio. And if you don't already have a plan, they can help you create a plan designed to help reduce the risk to your retirement savings when the market drops. Call 863-285-3815 to schedule your complimentary visit or virtual meeting to help make sure your retirement savings are built to last through down markets today and in the future. Call now to give your retirement plan a checkup with Philip Statler and the team at Statler Financial Services. 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815. Investment advisory services offered through Statler Financial Services, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
With the worldwide pandemic and stock markets plummeting, now is the time to listen to a voice of reason. Call Philip today at 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815.
Thanks for joining us today. This is the Statler Financial Radio Show. I am Jen Rezac, happy to be here with Philip Statler. He is president and CEO of Statler Financial Services. Philip is the inaugural Highlander Award winner for Financial Representative of the Year. StatlerFinancial.com is the website if you'd like to learn a little bit more. You can also find him on Facebook. Just do a search for Statler Financial Services on Facebook and they'll pop right up. Of course, Philip, we are still in this thing. We're still learning about the impacts of coronavirus on our families and our communities and our economy. We don't have the full price tag, but we know the impact is going to be big and it's going to be lasting. And that can feel overwhelming. It can feel like a dark cloud of uncertainty hanging over all of us. But the good news is, and we're talking about this today, Philip, we think every dark cloud has a silver lining. But you aren't going to find it if you're only focused on the bad news, if you're only focused on those negative headlines and getting caught up in all of that. How do you help people tune out some of that negative news and some of that noise?
Well, we're here as a sounding board, right? As our clients give us a call and we help walk them through that sounding board process. But I think the other thing is, it's just when we talk to our clients, finding out what their mindset is and then helping them, if they're in a dark place, help them focus on what they have that is good, help them figure out the gratitude that they should have, the blessing that's coming from where we are right now. I mean, I'm thinking about it in my own life, right? I mean, we've slowed down significantly. We're not running around every weekend, going here and there and everywhere. We're staying home. Our pace of life has slowed down significantly. Now, some people would say, well, that's not a good thing, but I would disagree. It gives us more time to focus and spend time with family and not necessarily in the same room with friends, but on the phone, Zooming, Skyping, FaceTiming, there's all kinds of ways today that we can stay connected. And that's what folks need to be doing. They need to stay connected to their friends and family.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. We do have some ways we can connect. It's important to do that. I know I did a kind of a virtual happy hour with some of my college girlfriends the other day, and It was fun to have that time together because with all of our families and all the things we have going on, we very rarely have a chance to visit anymore. So it's cool that we can do that.
We
Um,
kind of did the same thing, Jen.
did you?
We yeah, Easter Sunday, the kids couldn't be here, right?
Mhm.
They all staying at home like they're supposed to. Um, but we did. We got a Zoom meeting going, and all of us were there together, and we could talk, and we would talk about baby our new grandchild Natalie, and we would talk to all the kids, and it was just a good time where I think we probably spent 45 minutes or so together just chatting, and so we really had a good time.
Yeah, it can be fun. It can be fun to do that. I think that is a silver lining. When we look at the money side and some of the volatility and some of the concerns people have, Philip, obviously at the end of the first quarter, we had some real big drops in the markets. What's a silver lining to all of that uncertainty and all of that volatility? Is there any silver lining or positivity there?
Sometimes it's hard to see, right? Because you look at your portfolio and it's down significantly. I think one of the silver linings is going to be you may find out, and this may not be the silver lining you want, but you may find out that you got more risk than what you bargained for, right?
Mhm.
So it gives you the opportunity to search out an advisor who may better fit your circumstances. And I will tell you that there are differences, right? The guy that the advisor that was able to get you through this great growth phase is 99% of the time not the same one that's going to help get you through retirement. It's a totally different set of circumstances, a different game plan altogether. And so typically we see that it's a change. You got to shift gears and make a change in advisors as you get to that stage of life where, hey, I'm getting ready to retire. I'm 5 years out. It's totally different than when you're in that growth mode.
Talk a little bit about if volatility is our new normal. I know we don't really know what our new normal will look like with our society, but is volatility the new normal? Do you think we can expect more of this over the next few months?
And that's an interesting question, Jen, because Dave, the guy I'm on every morning with on the radio, he and I had this conversation a week or so ago. The market was down 1%. And we both looked at each other and said, well, okay, it's down 1%, not a big deal. Because we're so now entrenched in seeing huge market swings of, 2.5, 3, 4% market swings up and down, that now that 1% doesn't hardly even, scratch the surface anymore. So is there going to be a new normal? I don't know. This may be significant just for now in terms of the ups and downs of the market. I don't know that that's going to carry forward once this is fixed. But we don't know. I mean, that's one of those things that's kind of uncertainty is what will volatility look like 6 months from now or a year from now? Folks, that's why retirement is a time that you need to make sure that you're confident about where your income's coming from. Where are you going to get your income? Is it coming out of that mutual fund, or is it coming out of this 5 mutual funds? Where's it going to come from? Folks, that's why I believe you need to have a retirement income plan in place so that you know exactly year in, year out where your money is coming from. Even year 20, where is your income coming from? That's the benefit of a retirement income plan. To schedule your no obligation, second opinion, phone call, meeting, whatever you want. I mean, it's that easy. Give us a call at 863 285 3815. That's 863 285 3815, where we can take a look at your current plan to see if it's going to serve you well. Because what you don't want to do is retire and then all of a sudden your income has to decline because you're taking it out of the stock market. Give us a call right now at 863 285 3815.
Philip Statler is with Statler Financial Services. I am Jen Rezac alongside. Talk a little bit about when we should think about getting a second opinion on the things that we've done. Aside from asking some of these questions, if we've already put together some thoughts for where we'll get our income in retirement, we have an idea of when we'll take Social Security, we know roughly what we have in our 401k and what we want to do with that. When should we think about getting a second opinion on all those things?
Jen, I would say it depends on where you are in the life cycle, right? If you're 20 or 30 something, hey, man, just keep putting money in and don't look up, right? If you're in that, what we call the retirement danger zone, which is 10 years before you're going to retire, 10 years after you already retired, then to me, you need a second opinion. You need to make sure that you're not taking on more risk than what you think you are. And secondly, you need an income plan. You need an income plan that's going to provide you the income to get you through retirement. And I think that's important that we make sure we get those two things, especially if we're in that 20-year window, right? 10 before, 10 after retirement. You need to know what those numbers look like, and you need to know what that second opinion really tells you.
Philip, we're just about out of time on the show today. Do you have a final positive message for our listeners who might feel afraid and unsure about their financial future?
I would say, Jim, we will get through this. There is a light on the other side of the tunnel, and we will get through this. Now, it's going to be different when we come out of this, no doubt about it. But I think that now is a great time to actually start looking at where you are, and to see if maybe you should start thinking about making some changes in your portfolio. Your financial advisor has gotten you to where you are today, and that's great. He helped you climb that mountain to reach the peak. But they say, Jen, that coming down off the mountain is more dangerous than climbing up the mountain. And so what does that mean? Well, you've gotten up to retirement. Now you're coming down the hill. Work with somebody that's their expertise, is working with retirees to create the income they always needed. That's what we're here to do. Give us a call, schedule your no obligation phone consultation. All you have to do is give us a call at 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815. It'll be a great opportunity for you and I to have that conversation about where you are and where you want to be and when you want to retire. Do it right now. Give us a call, 863-285-3815.
You've been listening to the Statler Financial Radio Show. Thanks for joining us today. Remember that number, 863-285-3815. Be sure to tune in again next week for more insights from Philip. I'm Jen Rezac. We're glad you spent some time with us here today. We hope you have a great week. We hope you stay healthy, and we'll talk to you next time.
If you have a retirement plan and would like a second opinion, call Statler Financial Services today. 863-285-3815. That's 863-285-3815.
Information provided during the Statler Financial Radio Show is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute investment, tax, or legal advice. Information has been obtained from sources that are deemed to be reliable, but their accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed. Always consult with a qualified investment, legal, or tax professional before taking any action. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Individuals should thoroughly review the contract for specific details of the product features and costs. Income payments and withdrawals from deferred annuities are generally taxable as ordinary income in the year they are taken. All investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. No strategy is guaranteed to be successful. This radio show is a paid placement.